everybody, and welcome to Thomas Productions. My name is Thomas, and I'm here to discuss what's on my mind. Today, I've been thinking about Super Mario Party Jamboree, which has been announced for a couple months now. Based on what we've seen from the trailer, it's looking to potentially be the best Mario Party game. With how fun all the new boards look, the largest number of minigames in the series, all the side modes, and the inclusion of some retro boards, it's the game announced in the June Direct that I'm personally most excited for. All this has got me thinking, with the return of old boards and the high number of minigames, could there be some retro minigames as well? If so, what minigames could we see make a return? I've been wondering this pretty much the whole time since we saw the trailer. Since we're getting retro boards alongside new boards, having some retro minigames alongside new ones isn't out of the question, especially if there will be 110 minigames. I've seen a couple people mention this as well, so I thought I'd throw my hat into the ring and talk about which minigames I think could return into Jamboree. I won't be including any that were in Superstars since that game is the most recent and it's on the same system as Jamboree. That doesn't rule out any minigames in the top 100, however, as there are a couple I included in here that I would love to see be playable on the Nintendo Switch. However, I imagine N64 minigames will get priority once again since both of the retro boards are from the N64 games. I think we could see 30 retro minigames, which is enough to where we get a decent amount of representation of older games, while still having a bunch of newer minigames made for this game. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. For Mario Party 1, we actually already have one that's a lock if there will be retro minigames. That one being Bash and Cash, which might be hinted at on the front cover. I'm also predicting Musical Mushroom, Platform Peril, and Hot Bomb. Platform Peril is one I'm shocked wasn't in Superstars or the top 100, given how iconic it is. Pretty much every Mario Party game has at least one platforming minigame, and I think with how loved Platform Peril is, I'm sure it'd make a great addition to the lineup. For Mario Party 2, I'm predicting Shock, Drop and Roll, Abandoned Ship, Toad in the Box, Magnet Carta, and Feel It Relay. These are all fun minigames that haven't seen the light of day since their debut. I personally most want to see Feel It Relay and Toad in the Box. The former is my favorite 1vs3 minigame in Mario Party 2, where one player tries to reach the end dressed as a penguin before the other 3 players do, while the latter is a fun mind minigame that tests your reaction timing. The minigames I predict for Mario Party 3 are Crazy Cogs, Treadmill Grill, Waterworld, and End of the Line. Superstars surprisingly had an abundance of minigames from 3 represented despite only having one board, with a whopping total of 27 minigames, which happens to be about a quarter of the minigames in Superstars. Even with the crazy amount in Superstars, there's still some really good ones that haven't been seen since 3, and if there isn't going to be any retro boards from 3, there needs to be some representation of 3 through the minigames. Mario Party 4 has one of the best minigame selection in the series. There's a lot of fantastic ones that should make a return in Jamboree. Even with a lot of the big ones already in Superstars, there's still some others that need to be on the Nintendo Switch as well. The choices I went with are Mr. Blizzard's Brigade, Stamp Out, and Toad's Quick Draw. All of these are very fun 4-player minigames, with Mr. Blizzard's Brigade being my favorite of the bunch. It's one of my favorite survival minigames in the series, where you have to dodge all of the snowballs while sliding on ice. If it wasn't for Bookscore, I would say Mr. Blizzard's Brigade is easily my favorite survival minigame in Mario Party 4. Mario Party 5 doesn't exactly have the best minigame selection. I find a lot of them to be pretty mediocre, much like 5's boards. That said, there are some that would be nice to see even if a lot of the best ones are already in Superstars, with one of them being our first returning minigame from the top 100. The minigames I chose are Hotel Limbo, Mazed and Confused, and Panic Pinball. Hotel Goomba is my favorite minigame in 5 that wasn't in Superstars, which is kind of surprising since it's one of the fan favorites. If I were to add one from Superstars to make room for Hotel Goomba in that game, I would have personally cut Bill Blasters. But I'm all for giving it a second chance to return in Super Mario Party and Jamboree. There are a lot of really good minigames in Mario Party 6. It's arguably my favorite Mario Party installment in the series, but I only chose a couple for this one as well as most of the ones after, so the number of retro minigames isn't overflowing. I predict we'll be getting Granite Getaway and Hyper Sniper. Granite Getaway is the one that I especially want to see. The boulder chase opening in Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the most iconic scenes ever. It's been referenced in lots of different media over the years, and a Mario Party minigame based off it is no exception. Running from a boulder while dodging and jumping over obstacles is one of the most thrilling minigames of the series, and it'd be awesome to play again. Plus, I think a new remix of the music used for it would go hard. Mario Party 7 has some excellent thinkers as well. It has one of the more solid minigame lineups, so choosing just 2 was difficult. But ultimately, I predict Tracking Mule as well as Spider Stomp. Tracking Mule is one of my favorites from 7 and was actually another minigame in the top 100. Spider Stomp is a very solid 2 versus 2 minigame where the 2 players work together to defeat all the spiders, and whichever gets to the finish line first wins. Now we're reaching the minigames that were neglected in Superstars. I get that people don't look as fondly on the last few as the earlier games, but they deserve better representation in Superstars, especially since people still like the minigames in them. As much as I would love to see it get more representation, with how the 2 retro boards are from the N64 era, they'll probably prioritize N64 minigames once again, but oh well. The ones I chose were Power Trip and King of the Thrill. Power Trip is a really fun 1 versus 3 minigames where 3 players try to avoid the 1, and King of the Thrill is an epic battle to the top minigame, which is the contender for my favorite minigame in Mario Party 8. Mario Party 9 is a bit of an interesting one. It also doesn't have many minigames in Superstars with only 4, but it got a lot of attention in the top 100 with a total of 10. I have 3 minigames for 9 this time, those being Peak Precision, Player Conveyor, and Skipping Class. Peak Precision was another one that was in the top 100, which is one of my favorite minigames in 9 that I'm baffled wasn't in Superstars, yet Tackle Takedown of all minigames was. The other 2 are also some of my favorites as well, and I hope one day 9 gets the respect it deserves if Jamboree will have retro minigames. I mean really, Mario Party 9 is the contender for the most overhated game in the Mario franchise, but that's another story for another day. And finally, we have Mario Party 10, one of the most disliked of the Mario Party games, but like pretty much every other game, however, it still has a solid selection of minigames. The lineup isn't quite as strong as several of the other games, so I mostly just went with my gut on this one. In the end, I chose Goombrat Combat and Shy Guys Shuffle for 10 representation. Bonus points for the latter because I love Shy Guys. So that does it for my Super Mario Jamboree Retro Minigames predictions. There's no official confirmation that there will be any, it's all just speculation off the 1 trailer we have so far, but I thought it would be fun to discuss what minigames could return and which ones would be nice to see playable on the Nintendo Switch system. Regardless if we get them or not, I'm still very excited for Jamboree and can't wait to play it to see what all it has to offer when it comes out. It's looking to very well be the best Mario Party game of all time. Well, we're all out of time here for today, folks. Remember that you deserve to have happiness and to find peace in the things you love. Bye!